Chosen one, stop. Do not scroll past this. I need to tell you something that your spirit already knows, but your heart has been refusing to accept. You knew they were going to leave before they said anything, before they packed their bags. Before the conversation happened, something inside you already knew, that feeling in your gut that something was shifting. That distance you sensed before they physically pulled away. That knowing that kept whispering, "This is ending." You thought you were being paranoid. You told yourself you were overthinking. You convinced yourself that your fears were unfounded, but you were not paranoid. You were prophetic. God was warning you before the departure happened. And tonight, you will understand why you knew what you knew. At exactly 3:33 this morning, I was pulled into a vision that explained everything. I was standing in heaven's monitoring room. Massive screens covered every wall, and on each screen was a relationship between two people. Angels were watching the screens carefully, and beside each screen was a light. Green meant the connection was stable. Yellow meant a shift was coming. Red meant departure was imminent. Then one angel pointed to a specific screen. When I looked, I saw you, and I saw someone in your life whose light had turned red long before they actually left. The angel said, "This is heaven's early warning system. When a departure is scheduled in someone's life, we begin sending signals to their spirit. The warnings come as feelings, as dreams, as unexplainable knowing. We do not warn them to stop the departure. Some departures are necessary. We warn them so they are not destroyed by surprise, so they can prepare their heart. So they understand that we saw it coming and walked them through it." Then God's voice filled the monitoring room. He said, "Tell them the truth about what they experienced. That knowing they had before someone left was not paranoia. It was my warning system. I do not let my children be blindsided by exits that would break them. I send signals in advance. I prepare their spirit before I allow the departure. The signs they sensed were real. The warnings they received were from me. And every future departure will also come with advance notice. They just need to learn how to recognize my alerts. That warning system has been operating in your life. Every major exit was preceded by divine signals, and tonight you will learn to recognize the 7 signs God sends before someone leaves. Do not skip this message. Do not scroll away. If you leave before the 7th sign is revealed, you will miss understanding the warning system that has been protecting you all along. Stay with me until the end. Your discernment is about to be activated. Before we go deeper, I need you to do something. Type, "I sensed it before it happened," in the comments below. This is not just typing. This is your spirit acknowledging what it already knew. You are confirming that you received the warnings, even if you did not understand them. The angels are waiting for your acknowledgement. Type it now and subscribe immediately. Turn on all notifications. What comes after this video will teach you how to respond when you receive departure alerts. Miss it, and you recognize the signs but do not know what to do with them. Subscribe now. You did not find this video by accident. You found it because there have been departures that confused you, exits that hurt you, leavings that left you asking, "Why did I not see this coming?" But the truth is, you did see it coming. You just did not recognize what you were seeing. God says tonight, every departure in your life was preceded by my warnings. I never let anyone walk out without first preparing your spirit. The signals came. You felt them, but your heart was not ready to accept what your spirit was receiving. Now, I am teaching you to recognize my alerts, so that future departures do not break you, so that you can release with grace what I am removing with purpose. Do not skip what comes next. The Spirit is about to reveal the 7 signs God sends before someone leaves your life. Sign 1. The unexplainable distance you sensed. The first sign is the distance you felt before distance was visible. A pulling away that you sensed in your spirit before you saw it in their actions. A gap that opened in the invisible realm before it manifested in the physical. God says, before a departure becomes physical, it becomes spiritual. The person begins disconnecting in ways that are not yet visible to the eye, but are already felt by the Spirit. You sense them pulling away before they actually pulled away. You felt the distance before there was measurable space. This was not your insecurity inventing problems. This was your spirit detecting a shift that had already begun in the unseen realm. The distance you felt was real. It was just ahead of the evidence. Think about the person who left before they announced anything. Before the conversation, before the obvious signs appeared. You felt something, a coldness that had no explanation, a gap that you could not prove. A sense that they were already gone, even while they were still physically present. You questioned yourself. You wondered if you were being dramatic. You told yourself nothing was wrong, but something was wrong, and your spirit knew it. The distance you sensed was the first signal of a departure already in progress. Jesus spoke over your spiritual sensing. He said, "My sheep know more than they realize." When connections in your life begin to shift, your spirit picks up the signal before your mind has evidence. That unexplainable distance you felt was accurate. It was your spirit detecting what your eyes could not yet see. Never dismiss the distance you sense. It is often the first warning that a departure is approaching. John 10:45 activates over your discernment. His sheep follow him because they know his voice, but they will never follow a stranger. In fact, they will run away from a stranger because they do not recognize a stranger's voice. You recognize something foreign, something strange in the connection. Your spirit sensed the stranger that the relationship was becoming. Within 14 days, if you sense unexplainable distance with someone, pay attention. It may be the first alert. Do not dismiss what your spirit detects. The unexplainable distance is sign 1. Do not skip. The second sign came while you were sleeping. Sign 2, the dreams that warned you. The second sign is the dreams that showed you the departure before it happened. Nighttime visions of them leaving, sleep-time scenes of life without them. Dreams that felt more like prophecy than imagination. God says, when your conscious mind refuses to accept what is coming, I speak to your sleeping spirit. I send dreams that show you the departure before it manifests. You dreamed of them leaving. You saw scenes of life without them. You woke up with a heaviness you could not explain. These were not random dreams created by fear. These were divine alerts sent while your defenses were down. I was preparing your subconscious for what your conscious mind was refusing to accept. You have had these dreams. Dreams where they were gone. Dreams where you were alone. Dreams where the relationship had ended. You woke up disturbed. You tried to shake off the feeling. You told yourself it was just a nightmare, but the dream kept returning. The same theme visiting night after night, the same message your spirit could not ignore, because God was warning you, preparing you, showing you what was coming, so you would not be destroyed when it arrived. Joseph's brothers had dreams that revealed future bowing. Pharaoh had dreams that revealed future famine. And you had dreams that revealed future departure. Archangel Michael declared over your warning dreams. Dreams of departure are not curses. They are preparations. When God shows you someone leaving in a dream, He is not causing the departure. He is alerting you to what is already in motion. The dream is His mercy, His way of giving you time to process before the event. Those nightmares about losing someone were not attacks. They were advance warnings from a loving Father. Job 33 to 14:16 activates over your sleep revelations, for God does speak. Now one way, now another, though no one perceives it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on people as they slumber in their beds, He may speak in their ears, God speaking in dreams. Warnings sent while you sleep, departures shown before they manifest. Within 21 days, pay attention to recurring dreams about anyone in your life. If the same theme returns, heaven may be alerting you. The dream is not creating the departure, it is revealing what is already scheduled. The warning dream is sign 2. Hold on. Do not leave. The third sign seemed like confusion, but was actually preparation. Sign 3, the strange peace about losing them. The third sign is the unexplainable peace you felt about a potential loss. A calm about their departure that made no sense. An acceptance that arrived before the exit happened. God says, when I am removing someone for your protection or progress, I begin installing peace about the loss before the loss occurs. You found yourself strangely okay with the idea of them not being in your life. You felt a calm about releasing them that confused you. You wondered why you were not more afraid of losing them. This peace was not indifference, it was preparation. I was settling your spirit in advance, giving you the grace to handle what was coming before it came. This is confusing to experience. You cared about them. You did not want them to leave, yet somewhere inside, there was peace about the possibility. You thought something was wrong with you. Why are you not more anxious about this? Why does the thought of them leaving not terrify you like it should? But nothing was wrong with you. Something was right with you. God was giving you peace in advance, preparing your heart for a departure that was already scheduled. When Paul was heading to Jerusalem, he knew imprisonment awaited. His friends begged him not to go, but Paul had peace. Not because imprisonment was good, but because God had prepared his spirit for what was coming. Jesus spoke over your unexplainable peace. He said, "My peace I give to you, not as the world gives. The world gives peace when circumstances are peaceful. I give peace before storms. I give peace before departures. I give peace before losses. When you feel strangely calm about losing someone, it may be my grace preparing you." The peace is not denial. It is divine preparation. John 14:27 activates over your settled spirit. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. Peace given before the departure, calm installed before the storm, heart settled before the exit. If you feel unexplainable peace about someone potentially leaving, pay attention. It may be God's advance grace. He is preparing you for what he already sees coming. The strange peace is sign 3, do not skip. The fourth sign happened without you realizing why. Sign 4, the preparation without knowing why. The fourth sign is the subconscious preparation you made without understanding it. Actions you took that positioned you for life without them. Decisions you made that decreased your dependence on them. Movements you made toward independence without consciously intending to. God says, when a departure is approaching, I begin guiding you to prepare without you realizing why. You started developing parts of your life that did not include them. You made decisions that created distance before they created distance. You positioned yourself for independence without understanding what you were doing. This was not coincidence. This was my guidance. I was preparing you practically for a departure that was spiritually scheduled. When they finally left, you were more ready than you would have been because I had been positioning you all along. Think about the months before they departed. Did you start investing in friendships they were not part of? Did you begin developing skills or interests independent of them? Did you make decisions that, looking back, prepared you for their absence? At the time, it seemed random. Just natural evolution, just life happening. But it was not random. It was divine choreography. God was moving you toward readiness for an exit you did not know was coming. Before Elijah was taken to heaven, Elisha followed him from place to place, unconsciously gathering what he would need for life without his mentor, receiving the double portion he did not know he would soon require. Preparation was happening before departure occurred. 2 Kings 2-9-10 activates over your preparation. When they had crossed, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit," Elisha replied. Preparation before departure, positioning before exit, gathering what is needed before the leaving happens. Look at your last year. Did you make moves that positioned you for independence? That was not coincidence. That was God preparing you for a departure you did not consciously know was coming. The unconscious preparation is sign 4. Stay until the end. The 5th sign was hidden in ordinary moments. Sign 5. The conversations that felt like goodbyes. The 5th sign is the conversations that carried weight beyond their words. Discussions that felt final without explanation. Exchanges that sounded like conclusions, even though no ending was announced. God says, before departures, I often arrange conversations that serve as unconscious goodbyes. Words are spoken that carry more weight than the speaker intends. Moments happen that feel like conclusions, even though nothing has been concluded. You walked away from certain conversations feeling like something had ended, but you could not identify what. These were goodbye conversations disguised as ordinary exchanges. The finality you sensed was real. Your spirit was recognizing closure that had not yet been announced. You have experienced this. A conversation that left you feeling strange afterward, words that seemed heavier than they should have been. A discussion that felt like a period rather than a comma. You could not explain why you felt that way. The words themselves seemed normal, but something underneath them was different. That was your spirit detecting farewell energy, your soul recognizing goodbye before it was spoken. The conversation was ordinary in content, but extraordinary in spiritual weight. When Jesus had his Last Supper with his disciples, they did not fully understand it was goodbye. But there was weight in that room. Finality in the air, a sense that something was concluding, even if they could not name it. Jesus spoke over your weighted conversations. He said, before significant departures, there are always weighted moments. Words that carry more than their surface meaning. Exchanges that your spirit recognizes as final, even when your mind does not. When you walk away from a conversation feeling like something ended, trust that feeling. Your spirit is often saying goodbye before your relationship does. John 13:33 activates over final conversations. My children, I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now where I am going, you cannot come. Words of departure, conversations of closure, goodbyes disguised as ordinary exchanges. Within 72 hours, pay attention to any conversation that feels unusually heavy. If you sense finality, do not dismiss it. Your spirit may be recognizing a goodbye in progress. The waited conversation is sign 5. Do not skip. The sixth sign brought new faces before old ones left. Sign 6, the replacement already appearing. The sixth sign is the new person who appeared before the old person left. A connection that began forming before the current one ended. Someone new entering as someone current was preparing to exit. God says, I do not leave my children without support. When I am removing someone from your life, I often begin positioning their replacement before they depart. A new friend appears while an old friendship is fading. A new mentor emerges while an existing relationship is ending. A new connection forms while a current connection is dissolving. This is not coincidence. This is my provision. I do not take away without preparing what comes next. The new person arriving is a sign that someone current is preparing to leave. Have you noticed this pattern? Before someone left your life, someone new appeared. Before an old connection faded, a new connection formed. Before a departure happened, an arrival occurred. At the time, you did not connect the two. The new relationship seemed unrelated to the dying one. The incoming person seemed independent of the outgoing one. But God was orchestrating, removing one support while installing another, closing one door while opening a replacement. Before Elijah was taken, Elisha was already there. The successor was in place before the predecessor departed. The replacement was prepared before the removal occurred. Archangel Michael declared over your divine replacements, God never removes without replacing. When you see new connections forming unexpectedly, pay attention. They may be arriving because someone else is preparing to depart. The new person is not causing the old person to leave. They are being positioned because God knows the old person is scheduled to exit. The arrival is a sign of imminent departure. 1 Kings 19:21 activates over your transitions. So Elijah went from there and found Elisha son of Shaphat. Elijah went up to him and threw his cloak around him. Replacement found, successor positioned, new arriving before old departing. If new connections are forming in your life unexpectedly, pay attention. They may be divine replacements being positioned. Someone else may be preparing to exit. The appearing replacement is sign 6. Stay until the very end. The seventh sign is the moment you finally accept the truth. Sign 7. The Spirit confirming what the heart denied. This is the final sign. This is the moment when you can no longer deny what you have been sensing. When your spirit forces your heart to accept what it has been resisting. God says, there comes a moment when all the signs converge, all the distance you sensed, all the dreams you had, all the peace you felt, all the preparation you made, all the waited conversations, all the new arrivals, they all suddenly connect into one undeniable truth. Someone is leaving. And in that moment, your spirit is no longer willing to let your heart stay in denial. The confirmation becomes too strong to ignore, you know. Not because they told you, because I have been telling you all along. And you finally heard. Some of you are in that moment right now. As you listen to this message, things are clicking. Signs you dismissed are being remembered. Warnings you ignored are making sense. You knew. You always knew. You just did not want to accept it. But your spirit has been patient long enough. The signs have been given. The warnings have been sent. And now the confirmation is complete. Someone is leaving or has left. And you knew before it happened because God told you. Through distance, through dreams, through peace, through preparation, through conversations, through replacements, through every sign listed tonight. Ecclesiastes 3:1-6 activates over your acceptance. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to search, and a time to give up, a time to keep, and a time to throw away, a time for every season, including the season of departure, including the time to release. The 7 signs have been revealed, unexplainable distance sensed, warning dreams received, strange peace experienced, unconscious preparation made, weighted conversations recognized, replacements appearing, Spirit confirming what heart denied. God has been warning you all along, before every departure, before every exit, before every leaving. His early warning system was always active. You just did not understand what you were receiving, but now you do. But I must give you a warning. The enemy will try to make you use this knowledge wrongly. He will try to make you paranoid about every relationship. He will try to turn divine discernment into destructive suspicion. Do not let him. These signs are not meant to make you suspicious of everyone. They are meant to help you recognize when God is genuinely preparing you for a specific departure. Divine warning brings peace and preparation. Demonic paranoia brings anxiety and destruction. Now seal this discernment over your life. Say this out loud. Your voice activates the understanding you have received. Almighty Father, the God who warns before he removes, I receive the understanding of your departure alerts. I acknowledge that you have been warning me before exits all my life. The distance I sensed was real. The dreams I had were from you. The peace I felt was your preparation. The movements I made were your guidance. The conversations I experienced were weighted with truth. The new arrivals were your provision. I thank you for never letting me be blindsided, for always preparing my spirit before departures occurred, for loving me enough to warn before you remove. I receive discernment to recognize your alerts. I receive wisdom to respond with grace, not panic. I receive peace to release what you are removing. I receive trust that your replacements are already positioned. I declare that I will not be destroyed by departures. I will be prepared. I will sense what is coming. I will release with grace what leaves with purpose. In Jesus' name, Amen. Heaven recorded that declaration. The discernment is activated. The understanding is sealed, and your early warning system is now recognized. Now, complete the activation. First, like this video. This is not about numbers. This is about acknowledgement. When you press that button, you are confirming you recognize God's warning system. Do it now. Second, subscribe and turn on notifications. More revelation about navigating departures is coming. If you are not subscribed, you will miss learning how to respond to what you sense. Subscribe now. Third, share this video with someone who was blindsided by a departure. There is another chosen one who needs to know they actually received warnings they did not understand. They need to know God never lets his children be surprised. Send this to them. Fourth, type, I sensed it before it happened in the comments. Let other discerning ones see they are not alone. Let heaven record your acknowledgement. Let the enemy know you now understand what you have been experiencing. Type it now. Chosen one. You came to this video wondering why you knew before they left. You are leaving understanding that God was warning you all along. You were not paranoid. You were prophetic. You were not creating problems. You were sensing departures. You were not overthinking. You were receiving divine alerts. Trust what you sense. Honor the warnings you receive. Prepare when heaven says prepare, and release with grace when God removes with purpose. The early warning system is real. It has been protecting you your entire life. And now that you recognize it, you will never be blindsided again. You knew. You always knew. And now you know why you knew. Amen.